Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and kick this off. I'm assuming Chris will pop on at any time, but I'm going to take a look at just keep an eye on my text messages from him. So Chris wasn't able to get on until 9:15 because of a prior call. So he might pop on a little bit late, but I'm going to keep an eye on my text. But there's a lot of announcements for the month of March, so we'll have a little bit to talk about until he gets here. But welcome to the team call. It's so nice when the attendance is high. I wish I could attract this on Tuesdays, but that's okay. I'm not mad. Chris is pretty awesome. But no, thank you so much for being here tonight. Tuesday nights are every Tuesday night we do a team call. We're switching it over to a team call on first and third Tuesdays and live power hours on the second and fourth. Thanks, Cammy. Thanks for the little for my bone. But what I really want to do is focus on solid content twice a month because we don't need a ton more training. We have all the resources we need, but we do need a lot more action. We need a lot more, tools, like practical tools. So live power hour is what you'll see next time. So a few things going on in March, and if anybody sees Chris pop on, I don't see it, just let me know, kind of give me a little chat over here on the chat window. But a lot of stuff is going on for March. If you haven't seen it in the breaking news, if you're not popping into your back office to check that, definitely do that. I do send out a newsletter for updates on Sunday nights. So be sure that you're on that. But some really big things that I think are pretty cool, like Daily Sunshine, guys. It's on sale this month, and I know that they're lowering it for a month to get it in people's hands. And so this is a really great opportunity, if you have not tried it, to get it in your hands. And, even if it's not just for kids, like I'm actually having it as my snack right now. But it's $74, I want to say, Coach retail right now, Coach price. It's $99 for our customers. So really be promoting this. This is another way to serve people. Shakeology, not everybody's going to enjoy Shakeology or is going to hop on board with Shakeology. So really leverage these other items that we have, and it's a really great tool. Coach Sampler is a really awesome new thing. I mean, we've been asking for this for a while, to be able to get, especially the performance line in these sample packs and these single servings. This is a great, maybe you have a month that you're backed up on Shakeology. I don't know why, but it happens, right? This is a great month to grab one of those and be able to send out single servings. Really good deal on that. It's really discounted for that Coach Sampler. And Summit tickets this month, $155, a really great price on that. So anything else? Oh yes, beach bars. Who's excited about those? Next month, April 7th, a month from now, we're gonna have beach bars. Be ready for your businesses to blow up, or no, you'll be ready if you're prepared for it. Start to promote these things. This is an item that people need in their life. So, and I have a feeling it's gonna blow up people's businesses if they, are prepared for it. So, a lot of cool stuff. Is he here yet? I don't think so. I wanted to mention this to anybody who doesn't know about this group that exists. I put it in the team page, but it's not something that I want to blow up if it's not something people are interested in, but I want to make sure that I keep bringing it up in case people don't know about it. And it is in my newsletter. So keep in mind that the team page you're not going to be able to see all the posts in it. So the things that I want to make sure that you see, I put in the newsletter, because I don't want to just pump stuff in the team page that might just blow up your notifications. Because I know it can get your feed and your notifications can just kind of get out of control. And so I try to keep those things in the newsletter. But I have a group called Phoenix Rising, hashtag Phoenix Rising, that, do we know the macros on them? Yes. We do. I don't have them off the top of my head, but at least 10 grams of protein. I think it's 5 grams of fat, maybe. I don't know. They're in the FAQs. Check the FAQs on all of this stuff. All the details are in there. This Phoenix Rising is something. It's kind of like a initiative, for lack of a better word, a campaign this year of leveling up, of me wanting to level up my own business, my own leadership, and anybody who's really looking to pump their business up this year, like looking for a push. This is a business building group. Team Peanut community is getting larger and larger, and there's a lot of people who aren't building a business, are, you know, more hobby type coaches, are discount coaches, and that's what I want it to be, a very community type space, but obviously help us grow businesses. But for those who are looking to really level up in business and really want a push and want accountability and have big goals, and they're okay with a push, like they don't mind if I'm up in their business and up in their face, because people want that. People do want to push. They want to be prodded. They want accountability. That's what that is there for. So it's a smaller group. Obviously, we're going to be talking very much like I'm going to be giving much more business guidance, leadership tools. Like that's where I'm really going to drop that stuff, because I don't want to bombard people who don't want that in the larger team community. So just say, oh, Chris is here. Awesome. All right. So Chris, I'm going to stop talking so that he can take the floor. Chris, hang on. I got to see him. I don't see him yet. Let me look at my screen. Hey, Chris. Okay. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get us, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest speaker. Guys, we are so fortunate to have Chris here tonight. You know, this is, you know that he is blowing up all the time to speak. You know that he's got other calls and he's doing his own like tour around the country or wherever right now. So we are so privileged to be able to have him for tonight. So let me just introduce Chris. I mean, you guys know who he is. He's, you know, Beachbody's newest super trainer, and he co-created Shift Shop. So many of you have changed your fitness and your business and your life with this program. I know for me, somehow I learned about Chris before the rest of the network did. I'm not sure how I got like the information, so I like totally stalked him to figure out who he was. And once I saw what he was about, I was like, oh, Carl, it's about time. Thank you. And I was really excited. And I thought this is the direction that I've been hoping we would go in terms of mindset and somebody who was talking to us in a different way with fitness. So I got super excited. I messaged, I DM'd Chris on Instagram, thinking, oh, I'm gonna be smart, and I'm gonna like see if I can get him on a team call, lock him into a team call before he blows up. And I did, but then I couldn't ask it of him. Once he blew up, I just knew I couldn't do that to him. But then I thought, no, I need to ask. And fortunately he said yes, but and I had the privilege of spending some time with him at Super Saturday in Edmonton. And I just think you guys are going to be so blessed to hear from him. We're excited about, I'm excited about, I think a lot of our team can really relate to him. I think a lot of our team can really benefit from the mindset he has around like his own comeback story, building belief, and you know, the self-worth issues that so many of us can struggle with. So I want to just say, you know, Chris, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to hear from you, and I'm just going to let you take it away. I'll unmute you.
There we go.
There you are.
How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Well, that's good. Well, thank you, Megan. Well, we can kind of do this the way you guys want to. I guess, you know, let's ask some questions, and then I'll carry on from there. Don't hold anything back. You know, whatever you want to know, ask it. So that's the only way of really being transparent. Like I, you know, ever since I became a super trainer, I made a vow to myself. And the vow was I was going to be as authentic as possible. I didn't want to leave anything, you know, missing, nothing, you know, I just want to let it all out. And so that's why, you know, I had no problem just, you know, I didn't want to become really successful one day and all of a sudden someone says, oh, I found out this about his past, or I found out that about his past. And then that taints my legacy that I'm trying to build for my family. So just felt, you know, if I'm going to get accepted, it's got to be right out the gate. So I got to tell it right out the gate. Does that make sense? So yeah, let's talk. Who has the first question? Can you type it? Ooh, this is a good one, Ashley. What daily must-dos do you do? Do you have a routine that you follow to get you started? Yes, I do. First and foremost, when I get up in the morning, I meditate. I cannot leave my house without meditating. It's impossible because I know that I'm a person of influence. And I know that, you know, especially at this new level, you know, people aren't going to see, they only see me in one light. They don't see the human me. You see what I'm saying? So I try to prep for my day, and I never ask for anything when I pray because I already believe that I already have it. I just thank God that I have it. If it's something that may not have manifested in the physical yet, during that meditation, I visualize myself doing it, walking in it, saying it, or whatever my goal is. And I just really I engage with that emotion and I smile at it. And I really capture the moment of that. And then from that moment forward, every decision that I make, once I see it in my head and connect with it emotionally, every decision I make has to complement that vision. So let's just talk about where we think 90% of the network struggles with is nutrition, right? You know, people say they struggle with nutrition, they think they're overweight, or they think they struggle with food. You do not struggle with weight issues. You do not struggle with food. You struggle with loving yourself. That's 100% the truth. Because let's see here. Taylor has how old is your son, Taylor? I can tell you right now, Taylor would not give that little boy anything that would harm him, right? Because she loves him unconditionally and she protects him and she wants him to have the best nutrients for his body. So my question is, if we would do that so much for our kids, why don't we do that for ourselves? So I'm going to show you right now the keys to getting in the best shape of your life. Start loving yourself. Visualize exactly what you want to look like, exactly how you want to feel, and every decision you make with food has to complement that vision. Every single decision, everything that you put up to your mouth, check yourself. Does this complement that vision I have in myself? Am I asking you to be a rabbit? And am I asking you not to have a piece of cake? Absolutely not. But I always tell people for the next 60 to 90 days, I need to make this your new normal. So when you do have a piece of cake, it's like, I just want to have a piece. I just want to bite, as opposed to eating the whole thing. And even if you ate the whole thing and that's the only thing you ate in 4 or 5 months, so what? But the whole point I'm making is I want you to be able to dominate who you are by being so conscientious of every decision you make with food has to complement you being more fit than ever, having great energy, stronger than ever, and you're in the best body you can ever imagine for yourself. Does that make sense? All right, is there another question?
I don't see any other questions yet, but so this is something that someone could use, this kind of mindset, no matter what you struggle with, like whatever limiting beliefs you might have, whatever like negative self-speak you might give yourself, whatever it is you're struggling with your business, with your relationships, like if there's something like this, like what you're saying is visualize who you want to be or what you want to be. Maybe you have this, you keep telling yourself they're one thing, but if you want to be something else, you visualize it, you tell yourself, I am that, and every decision, every action, every behavior. So this goes for anything in our lives that we're trying to achieve.
Right. And one of the coolest things is, like, let's talk about another one that I think is so much fun. And this is why I really feel like if I can get the network to adjust to this mindset, everybody's going to succeed. I have this model that I use for myself that in my heart, I really believe I'm never going to be successful until you guys are. It's that simple. I don't care how many shift shop sales, how many clothing line, how many tours I go on. I don't care how many royalty checks I cash. To me, that's individualism. Until I see you guys thriving, succeeding in your businesses, I'm still struggling. Because true success is when it leaves your house and enters somebody else's. That's what I was raised on. My grandma taught me that. My grandma was a little Indian lady, and she was really adamant about me. And when I was a child, she would tell me, you're never going to be successful until the people around you is successful. It leaves your home and going to someone else's. So, that whole self-talk thing is for everything, guys. Coaching, for example, I'm going to tell you right now how to take your coaching to the next level. And I'm telling you, this works. Whatever your dreams and goals are as a coach, write it down. The moment you write that down, guess what? It now has a heartbeat. Prior to that, it was just an inspired thought. Now, let's just say, for example, I want to be a 6-figure coach, right? My ultimate goal is to be a 7-figure coach, but I want to be a 6-figure coach. But right now, I'm a 5-figure coach. I write this down. Tomorrow morning, when my feet hit the ground, I'm believing that I'm a 6-figure coach. My mindset is I'm a 6-figure coach. Every decision that I make with my business has to complement and represent a 6-figure coach. You cannot do the same things as a 5-figure coach saying you're a 6-figure coach. If that means calling your team more, encouraging them, if that means, holding an extra meeting, most importantly, what it means is spending more time with yourself. The hardest thing to accomplish in any dream, guys, any goal, is never the dream, it's never the goal. It's convincing yourself that it's part of your birthright and you're entitled to it and it's who you are. That's the hardest thing. I just eliminated 90% of your problems right now. It has nothing to do with how many people you can put on your team. It has everything to do with believing that you already have that team. When you believe you already have that team, the people will come find you because you're the magnet. Guess what, guys? You hold the solution. You have the answers. Quit searching for the answers when you are the answer. Believe that you're the answer, and the people who are in need are going to show up. It's that simple, but it's being done backwards. You guys are having anxiety. You're stressing. You're worrying about rank. If you have the answers, why are you worried about that? You just immediately mentally and emotionally put yourself in a wilderness with all the other lost people that's searching for answers. You are the answer. You just got to believe it. When you believe it, they will find you, even if it's at the grocery store, even if it's at a wedding. Because here's the deal. When you know who you are, you know where you're going. When you know where you're going, you have confidence. You become infectious. You guys aren't attracted to me as a person. You're attracted to my gift. I'm infectious to you, so you're drawn to me. You have the same quality. Focus on you being a better version of yourself. You're going to become infectious. When you become infectious, broken people, lost people, people who are seeking for answers, they're going to find you. Their radar, you're magnetic. They have to find you because you have the answers. The reason why they're not finding you is because you don't know who you are. You don't know what you're entitled to. This whole network, it bothers me because there's so much competition. There's so much jealousy. There's so much envy. There's so much backstabbing. There's so much poaching, so much backbiting. That's why it's tore up, because the energy is bad. No one, and the people who do have the information aren't sharing it because they're afraid. Well, let me explain something to you. I'm Chris Downing. I'm not afraid of any of those super trainers or what they can accomplish. I have my own lane. I have my own lane, my own gifts, my own talents. Guess what, guys? Just like there's a Pacific Ocean and there's an Atlantic Ocean, there's enough success for everybody. And if you have fear, you know what fear is? Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's an illusion. Has anybody on this call ever saw fear walking down the street? Hey, there's fear right there in that blue car. No, it's an illusion. It's whatever you create it to be. So what are you afraid of? You're afraid of being great. You're afraid of finding out who you really are. You're afraid of just believing in yourself because you've always been told this is impossible. It's all commission. How can I do it? This person failed. What about your future? What if it doesn't work? You're allowing other people's insecurities to dominate your mind space and convince you of what they already are when you got your own lane, guys. I don't ever compare myself to another super trainer. For what? They have their lane. I have mine. That's why I'm the first super trainer, and I said on this call because it's a fact. I'm the first super trainer that's ever shouted out other super trainers, promoted their program. I'm the first super trainer that's ever wore another super trainer's clothes. When Tony got sick in November, they asked me to fill in for him. I get a call from my liaison. Hey, make sure you, we're gonna ship you some Shift Shop stuff. Make sure you bring whatever else Shift Shop stuff you have. I said, I don't want to wear Shift Shop stuff. What do you mean? I'm going to represent Tony. I want P90X stuff. Can you send me some P90X clothes? Are you serious? Absolutely. When I got on that stage, what did I have on? A blue P90X shirt. And I gave Tony a shout out. Because you know why? I'm confident, guys. I know who I am. I know my purpose. I know I was put on this earth to empower, love, inspire, and bring out the best in others. I was not put in this business or brought to this company to compete with Autumn, Tony, Sean, Joe, Jericho, Shalene. That's the wrong thing. I'm not in it for competition. The only competition is the person I see in the mirror every day. Me being a better version than I am today than I was yesterday. That's the only person I compete with. If a person is competing with me, that's an insecurity. That's a problem they have. So I'm saying all that to say this. You have nothing to fear. Each and every person on this call is a 6-figure coach, a 7-figure coach, if you want to be. There isn't a person to the left, to the right, below you, above you that can stop you. That the only person that can stop you is you and your limiting beliefs. It's the honest to goodness truth. Everything you already need to be the person that you want to be is already inside of you. There's nothing out. The only thing you see in your physical world right now is just a reflection of what's inside of you. If you see lack somewhere, it's because there's lack inside of you. If you see success somewhere in your physical presence, that means it's success somewhere inside of you. Match it up, guys. Make sure it mirror each other. Does that make sense? I know that was pretty deep. I go on these rants sometimes. I'm sorry. All right, let me ask another question. All right, hold on. All right. How did you get where you are? Well, fire. You know, I think I got to this place from I got to this place because I was broken as a child, man. Like I was conceived out of adultery, number one. My dad was married. He was messing around with my mom. My mom was a prostitute. So my dad wasn't in my life. I was adopted. I ended up getting adopted. So I came from brokenness, right? So even since I was a child, I was molested twice before I was 6. I came from being broken, and I came from being abused physically, mentally, emotionally, to a point where, like, you know, that fueled me, because a person in that situation becomes a statistic, right? And I knew that when I was a kid, that I had a special, despite all that's happened to me, I always had a lot of love in my heart for people. I've always been this way. I was always a person that sat at lunch with the kids that was disabled. And I was a star basketball player. I was a star basketball player on my basketball team, but I sat with the underprivileged kids. I was the same person that would take my jersey off and put on a kid that was handicapped. You see what I'm saying? I was the same person that sat with the chubby kid at lunch when everybody else picked with them. So I've always had a heart and love for people. And I knew that I never wanted a person to feel the brokenness that I felt growing up and even in my adulthood. So I made a vow to myself to whatever it took to do what I can to bring out the best in other people. Because, man, I am one lucky human being, man. I know it, guys. I know that there's a God. I know it, man, because I wouldn't be here. So what can I be arrogant and cocky for if I know that I've had a lot of grace on my life? You see what I'm saying? All right, let me see here. You have another question, Megan?
I would love if you would share a little bit about the letter that you wrote to yourself, and maybe you charged us at Super Saturday to write a letter to ourselves to read in 6 months. I'd love to hear. I'd love for them to hear more about that.
So the whole letter concept came from a situation that happened to me 3 years ago. Actually, hold on. It'd be 3 years ago. The 13th. So this is how crazy this is, guys. This is mind blowing. How many guys knew that I had a felony? Yeah, how many knew about that? All right, let me tell you what happened. So I got these 2 gyms, man. I'm in this town, very popular guy in my town. I trained a lot of the high schools, all the pro guys from the town. My gym was rocking. And so I was like the go-to guy, you know, for training. And at the time, I had my own presence. Like, I'm the only super trainer that had his own following coming into Beachbody. I had over like 3 or 4 million views on my YouTube channel. Had like 20-something thousand subscribers from a little old town in Canton. My training was in 113 countries. And so, I'm sorry, 213 countries. And so there was a person who I know very well. I didn't know at the time what happened, but I mean, I know him very well. So at the time, you know, my son's mom and I, we were split up, and she lived in this duplex, right? So you walk into one door, her place was to the right, the other place was to the left, and the place was vacant. Well, this particular person, I rehabilitated him. You know, I had him in my life. He had gotten some trouble, and I brought him back to life. You know, I really I poured into him financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, and got to a point where I like, well, you know, it's time for you to be a big boy now. It's time for you to have your own place. And so I talked to this landlord about him moving into this place. And so I told him, I said, if anything ever happened, you know, I'll cover the debt. But I need him to be a man. I need him to step out and, you know, take care of himself. And so at the time, the landlord was like, you know, my wife's battling cancer. I don't have time to clean the place up. It's vacant. And the person was like, you know, I'll take care of it, sir, in exchange for a deposit. The guy's like, fine. So anyway, you know, he's in there and he sees a piece of mail. And the mail was the person who originally lived there but moved out of state. So this particular person calls his nephew, and he has him send him 10 pounds of marijuana in the mail from California, right? Now, I guess the guy was like, well, who lives in the area? Because if you're going to put it in this girl's name that, you know, lived there, what if they find out that she moved out of state? Oh, well, Chris's son's mom live across the hall. Oh, so you know people in the area. Yeah, his son's mom live across the hall. Mind you, I don't know any of this, right? So the day before this happens, he comes in my room. He said, hey, man, I ordered some stuff from California. And I'm thinking because he just moved. He was in jail for a while. Right before he came from jail, he lived out there. So he was trying to ship his stuff, which was in storage, back to Ohio, because he was going to live here. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, man, we'll call UPS. If it's stuck, it's supposed to have been here 5 days ago. Call UPS. I don't know, maybe find out what it is. I'm thinking he's sending some of his belongings. So anyway, I saw the police ride by the day before, but I thought they were just patrolling the area. But my car was in the driveway. So to the police's defense, they're like, oh, Chris Downing's car is over there. He must have something to do with this at this residence. So the next day, I'm over there with my son's mom. She's in the process of moving back to my place, which is another reason why I had to get him out of here, because I wanted to bring my family back home. And so, you know, we're over there just kind of, you know, packing stuff and getting stuff together. And this box arrives. And I'm thinking, okay. And she looks, I never physically touched the box. She never touches the box. But the box is in her name. I said, you order something? And she was like, no. Did you order something? I said, well, why would I order something? I don't live over here. Why would I order it? So before you knew it, police, narcotics swarmed around the house. They had been staking out. Chris, come here. At this point, my eyes is wide open like, what's going on? Tell me to come here and put my hands on the car. I'm kind of spazzing like, what did I do? You know, they take my cell phones, looked at my phones. And he said, you know what's in that box? I said, no, I do not. Don't play games with me. Do you know what's in the box? I said, sir, I don't know what's in the box. I was just asking her about the box. I don't know what's in the box. And they pulled, some of them took her to the side and says, is Chris a drug dealer? And she laughed at him. She was like, no, the guy works 80, 90 hours a week. No. You know there's marijuana in that box. She was like, really? Yeah, right. We were just asking who sent a package. So they put us together. They looked at my phone. They went through UPS. There was zero traces of any UPS packages to me from this address, sent from California. There was absolutely nothing on my phones through, you know, looking up UPS tracking numbers, however way they went in my phone and did it, there was just no tracking there, right? So he comes back, we can't find anything on this phone. Unfortunately, ma'am, you're going to go down for this box because of your name. I said, oh, wait a minute. Whoa. What do you mean she's going to go down for this box? Someone's got to get charged for this because it's not yours. because it's not, we haven't found it. We can't find it. There's no evidence of you proving this. We have no choice but to believe it's hers. I said, so you're going to take her to jail. And at this point, she spazzed like, I don't have anything to do with this. I said, so you're going to take her to jail over something that's not hers? Unfortunately, Chris, we don't know whose it is, but it's in her name. She has to get charged for it. Okay, so what if I say it's mine then? Will she get in trouble? Actually, no. If you're saying it's yours, you're going down for it. Then it's my box. So you're admitting to it as yours. Absolutely. If she's not going to get in trouble, it's my box. So I get arrested. They come to my house. My cousin is here. They go in his room. They find more in his room. At this point, I put 2 and 2 together. He's like, they searching my house. He's like, cuz, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you did this? I'm like, dude, you have no idea what you just did to my life. Like, you have no idea what you just did. And so they take me down to the jail. They book me. The guys that's booking me are like, dude, we don't even want to book you. We follow you on YouTube. You're big in our community. So they put me in the interrogation room. Where did it come from? I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't give him a name because I don't know who sent it. So he keep asking me. I said, I don't know, sir. I just don't. I don't know what to tell you. We get you don't want to tell on anybody, but if you want us to help you, you need to tell us who sent this box. Sir, I don't know who sent the box. He looks at me. He said, I'll be right back. He said, I'm going to try to get you out of here on your own signature. Something's not right about this. Goes to his boss, tries to get me out on the signature. Comes back into the room. Unfortunately, my boss says I have to book you. The media is going to find out in 45 minutes. I'm done. I'm done. I knew I'm done. I bail myself out. A couple hours later, next day, mayhem in my town. I knew he had to be doing something. Nobody's that successful. I'm in a newspaper. I have to go to court. The court's packed. And they actually snuck me in early because they didn't want other media outlets to come. Because I keep telling you, I train like NFL, NBA players around here. And so all of a sudden, town goes nuts. My daughter, who's a senior in high school, starts getting bullied. Your dad's a drug dealer. My daughter's like, Dad, please tell the truth. Tell him it's not yours. Sweetheart already admitted that it was mine. But Dad, you don't understand. Like, this is terrible. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I've never been in trouble in my life. What if you go to prison? I'm facing 5 years of prison, right? She's getting bullied. She's getting threats. They have these cell phones where you can buy an app. You pay a couple of dollars for an app. And I can call you, I can text you, you can text me back, but you can't call me back. It's not traceable. So she's getting text messages. I'm gonna make sure Dad never gets out of prison. I'm gonna plant drugs in your car. I'm gonna plant drugs around your house. 2 o'clock in the morning, my daughter running upstairs. She got a text message, somebody saying there's drugs on our porch. She's freaking out, sweetheart, there's no drugs on the porch. So now her and I are bucking bad. Like, I mean, bad, guys. To the point where she's like, you're ruining my life. You're ruining your life. Just tell the truth. She's a teenager. She doesn't understand that I've already said it was mine, even though it wasn't. So my cousin comes to me and says, cuz, let me just tell the police it's mine. So they're not going to believe you because of who I am. So it ain't going to matter. They're not going to believe you. So make a long story short, with that part of it, I have a rule at my house with my daughter. If you leave for the weekend, you do your laundry on Friday. So when you come home Sunday, everybody's not doing laundry. I come home Friday, washer's on, dryer's on. Her clothes are in there. She's not home. I'm thinking she's at Starbucks with one of her buddies. I call her, hey, what are you doing? I'm at grandma's house. Okay, but you have laundry in the washer and the dryer. I'm not coming home. I can't sleep there. I'm not comfortable there. I'll just do it Sunday. No. You're going to come now and finish this laundry, and then you can go back to your grandma's. Well, I'm not coming. You got 20 minutes to get here. I hung up. Half hour goes by. She's not here. I call her back. What are you doing? I'm not coming. Now you talking back to me? Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You grounded. I'm taking your car. My daughter is just, and I'm literally watching my kid lose her mind, guys. Like, she's losing her mind. She goes to Rite Aid. She buys a bottle of extra strength Tylenol, goes back to her grandma's house, runs some bath water, which my kid does not take baths, she takes showers, turns the music up, goes in the bathroom, takes 30 extra strength Tylenol. Her grandpa comes home. He was supposed to go to happy hour with one of his buddies, had to go to the bathroom so bad and grab his wallet. He comes in the house, bangs on the door. He has to pee. Knocks on the door. Don't hear anything. Goes downstairs. How long has she been in the bathroom? They got one bathroom. She's been up there for about 35, 40 minutes. What is she doing? She's taking a bath. She doesn't take baths. That's a good point. Goes back upstairs, knocks on the door again. Don't hear anything. He doesn't want to walk in on her, so he cracks the door to kind of just reach his voice, say, hey, Grandpa has his bathroom. How long are you going to be? Because the music is loud. Cracks the door. Her hands are draped over the bathtub, unconscious, unresponsive. They rush her to the hospital. Nothing they could do for her. Send her to Children's. She's in the ICU for 4 days. I go see my kid. I got security. I got everybody watching me because they know who I am. All of a sudden, child services gets involved. You're a menace to her. This is your fault. She's in a situation. She's fighting for her life. My whole world is crumbling. I'm still out on bond right now. Haven't even been to court yet. And my daughter's fighting for her life. I leave the hospital the one day. I pull in my driveway. I get a phone call. It's my buddy who filmed all my YouTube videos. Hey, man, unfortunately, due to the situation you're dealing with right now, man, I can't be around you. I'm sorry, man. I can't do any more YouTube videos for you. All right, man, I understand. I got bigger problems right now. My kid is fighting for her life. Hang up the phone. My daughter gets out of hospital a week and a half later. She had to spend a week in the psych ward. I'm up there visiting her with kids with real problems, like real problems, to the part where I'm broken that my kid is in a psych ward and she's a 3.9 GPA student. And she's like, Dad, I don't belong up here. I said, honey, I know that, but we'll deal with that later. I just need you to follow the rules here so you can get out of here. I come home. I'm sitting down. I got $20,000 in my bank account, right? I ordered $16,000 worth of production equipment. Didn't know how to use any of it. All I know how to do is turn the power on. Had $4,000 left over. I ordered every movie that's ever impacted me as a child, from Rudy to every movie from my childhood until my adulthood that's ever impacted me, because I felt like I needed to be surrounded by the things that kept me motivated or touch my soul, right? Now, my uncle had a dream that I would become a fitness trainer, and I'm lost because I feel like I let him down because I have a felony. I had to call this guy. I said, man, can anybody help me with this software? I don't know how to use it, but I got to express myself. I have to get a video on YouTube. Sends this guy to my house. He comes on my house twice a week for 3 months, teaches me how to use the software. Explain this to me. Carl, at this point, is on his turf exercising, comes up with this idea. I want to create a program on turf. Goes in the house, Googles workouts on turf. Out of trillions and trillions and trillions of videos on YouTube, the only video, the first video that I ever filmed and edited myself was a video that got me signed to Beachbody. But let me explain to you. Without me even knowing he was following me, I'm sitting down in this very room. My kid is in counseling. I have no money. All of a sudden, a suicide thought presents itself to me. At that point, I realized I'm in a deep mess because I love myself. I love my kids. I could never see myself leaving my kids, man. But a suicide thought literally presented itself to me, and I got a choice to make. Either I can engage with that thought, allow it to take up residence in my body, and eventually over time convince me of creative ways to walk out that act, or I made another decision. I wrote myself a letter. And I sat down at this very desk right here. And in this letter, I wrote everything I wanted my life to be. Not what I was physically dealing with. I'm talking about physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. In the letter, mind you now, I have no idea Carl already discovered me. In this letter, I put that I would partner with a company via YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and do great things. Had no idea Beachbody already discovered me. When they discovered me, they watched me for 5 months because they knew I had a felony. So people from corporate friend requested me, had no idea they was watching me to see the content that I posted on social media if it reflected my charge. But all they saw was motivating stuff. All they saw was a guy that was pouring out his passion on people. 5 months later, Beachbody called. But before they called, I had to convince myself that this letter was my real life. My gym members left, clients gone. In this letter, every aspect of it in the physical world, I presented myself every day. Every decision I made complemented that letter. There was times I would read the letter and I would cry as if I was celebrating. Every time I got down, I read the letter before I went to bed. I read the letter first thing in the morning and all throughout the day whenever I felt down. Because here's the deal. When I read the letter, guys, it made me feel good. Did it change my physical circumstances right away? Absolutely not. But it made me feel good. So when I started practicing feeling good. Because when I felt good, I had more confidence. When I had more confidence, I read the letter as if it was already happening. It was true to me. Before you knew it, people started coming to me asking, can they join the gym? Can I train their kids? I started getting so many calls. I started asking people in the consultation, you know I got a felony, right? Because they kept coming. Yeah, we know you have a felony, but we want you to train our kid. The whole point I'm making here is that letter became my new identity. And the reason it became my new identity is because everything I did in the physical complemented that letter. So before you knew it, my whole physical circumstances changed. So about Shift Shop, Carl thought of Shift Shop because he said he was driving down La Brea Avenue and all he saw was a bunch of shops. And he said, I started thinking about you because if a person goes and gets their car remodeled, they put their car in this building. The car gets broken down, patched up, sanded, repainted. 3 weeks later, you open the door, someone comes and get their randomly remodeled car. That's what you do to people. You break them down, you patch them up, you sand them, you repaint them by giving them a new mindset, and you set them free. And he said the shifting was from 25, 35 to 45 minutes because I'm such an intense trainer. But during rehearsal, I had a breakdown when everybody left. I just sobbed because I knew that my life changed. And Jack came up to me and said, what's wrong? I said, bro, that shifting is not 25, 35, 45. That shifting is going from where you are to where you want to be. I was presented a suicidal thought. I made a shift in my mindset to write myself a letter, and it changed my life, man. So Shift Shop that's what it's about, going from where you are to where you want to be. I know it was a little bit of a long story, but that's the whole thing and where the letter came from. So whatever questions you guys have, sorry, I talked your ear off, but I had to tell you the whole story.
I love that story. I think it's a really powerful story. Does anybody else have any other questions for Chris? And I love the whole idea of the Shift Shop. You break them down to build them back up. Our team is Team Phoenix for that same reason. Phoenix, the legend of the Phoenix. That's the way that I envision this journey for me, and that's what I try to how I try to reach people as well. I think that we have to kind of face some of our darkest thoughts and kind of face those things and those realities to build back up from it, and that's where our greatest victory is. So I love that. I love that comparison. I love that analogy so much.
I think the biggest thing with the whole process with this is prior to all that stuff happening to me, I was just exercising a gift. I wasn't walking in my purpose. Now I'm walking in my purpose. There's no way I would hang around anybody that's not connected to my purpose. Like the decisions I make now, I never would have made before. But it's just because I'm so conscientious of who I am and my purpose on this earth. And it helps. I have way less problems now than I've ever had. It's just because you can sense a distraction. You know it right away because it doesn't resonate with that letter.
Any questions, guys?
No questions?
What's next for you, Chris?
Well, honestly, it's you guys. I can't even fathom creating a new program until everybody's mindset gets shifted, man. Like, why give you another program? You got plenty of them. I need you guys to believe, man. I need you to believe in yourself now. Because here's the deal. Unless you start believing in yourself, you're never really going to get the full effect of who you really are. So why throw another program in there? That doesn't make sense. What, just to give you another exercise? Who cares about the physical body? I want to see your mind change. I want to see you loving yourself. I want to see your teeth. I want to see you smiling because you're happy. So I think we need to work on that.
I agree. What personal development do you listen to that helps you believe and love yourself? So I think people are wanting to know how to believe in themselves. I think that's what everyone wants to know. Like, how do you have so much confidence? Like, what, I think people want a how-to on how to have the passion and the belief.
My personal development, honestly, is my life. That's it. Now that I have an idea that I can create whatever I want, that's my personal development. Just really seeing, well, how much more is inside of you, Chris? Like, how much more can you really accomplish? Because you already know that the letter works. Like, what level can you take this to? And if I happen to listen to any personal development, I do it in seasons, guys. Like, I can't just listen. There's so many great speakers in the world, and everybody has their own perception of stuff. If I listen to Oprah and I listen to Gary Vee and I listen to this person, I'm just gonna get confused, like, because everyone's has such great stuff. But there's a period of seasoning where I just only listen to my spirit, man. Well, I'll just go into meditation all the time, and all I focus on is gratitude. And then it'll lead me to maybe I need to listen to this person for a week or two. But lately, I've been listening to Napoleon Hill. That's who I've been listening to.
Somebody said there were rumors on Instagram with you and Sagi. Is that right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know about those rumors. I haven't seen any rumors about that.
Okay.
No, honestly, I'll tell you guys. It's not a program. Sagi and I are going to do an event together.
Event?
Yeah, that's what it is. Writing a book. I'm writing it now. It's called Living Out a Dream.
Awesome.
Have a hard time meditation and quiet time. How do you focus on yourself? The best way to learn how to meditate is gratitude. Just start visualizing all the things that you're grateful for, and it'll relax you. And once it relaxes you, poof, it'll take care of itself. How do you stay grounded to your purpose? Because 3 years ago, I was facing 5 years in prison. like I don't ever want to feel that again. I don't ever want to go through what I went through again. I have no choice but to be grounded. Like, that stuff prepared me for this moment. It prepared me to be able to handle success. It prepared me to be able to love you guys unconditionally, have passion, and strive to be the best I can be, to bring out the best in others. So yeah, I don't have an arrogant bone in my body. Like, it's impossible for me to be arrogant. I'm like beyond grounded. My favorite scripture to run with is actually tatted on this part of my back. It's Ephesians 3:20. That God is able to do super abundantly, far over and above anything you can ask or think, infinitely beyond your highest desires, thoughts, hopes, and dreams. That's my life right there.
Melody's asking the prompt for the letter again.
Girl, you better rewind this video. I don't even have another 25 minutes in me to explain that. Like, I'm mad at myself for taking that long. But now you guys have a deeper understanding, though. It's a long story, but like when you really break it down, it's like, wow, man. Like, I had to really be in a different mindset for that.
I don't know. Maybe she wasn't asking like why. I don't know what she's asking, but Melody, it was when he was having that suicidal thought was when he decided he needed to like craft his vision. Like, he had to paint that picture and then live it out. And so at Super Saturday, he told all of us to write our own letter. That's the charge that he gave us, to be able to read back and like 6 months later, like you know, to see, you know, what you manifested from that letter. So, I mean, I would charge all of you to write your own letter.
And it's not just writing a letter to yourself. Like, what do you want? That's like the biggest thing, guys. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you really want? Here's the key. Someone asked me one day, how do you know what your purpose is? All right, that's the easiest question in the world. If I was to give you a blank piece of paper And I tell you, there's absolutely no limits, no fears, no worries. If I could give you one day to live your best life, what would you write down? What would you do in that one day? And after that one day is up and you figure I lived my life to the fullest, I said, okay, I'm going to give you 6 months now. What would you do in those 6 months if you had no fears, no limitations, no worries, no nothing? When you write that down, that's your purpose. That's the honest to goodness truth. Be mindful of this. Everybody on this call has more than one gift. But in the midst of all your gifts, there's a root. Just like there's a tree. There's a strong root, and then there's branches and leaves, right? Training is my root. It's my foundation. But if you go up that root, there's a little branch over here that's a public speaker. There's a branch over here that's a model. There's a branch over here that's an actor. There's a branch over here that's a writer, that's an author. You see what I'm saying? But training is my root. Yeah, you're a coach, but that's not the only thing you are. What is your heart's desires? What would you do for free and not charge a person a dime because you love it that much? That's your purpose. Because your purpose is your purpose is designed to serve other people. It's bigger than you.
Mary is asking about how you embrace, like, I guess, having children and this journey. Like, how do you bring them along, keep them apart?
My kids are a part of this whole thing, man. Like I bring them with me to events. Like I'm taking everybody to Riviera Maya with me. I feel like, I don't know, man. Like my kids are my everything. Like I see a reflection of myself in them. I really do. So part of this is to get them to, like, never take anything for granted. Like even to this day, I'm really strong about that. And I want them to enjoy the journey with me.
All right, guys, well, there's more questions. How do you stay focused on that mindset each day when life happens?
Life doesn't happen. Life only happens when you allow it to happen. And here's a situation. Let me clarify that so you don't think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Every situation in life, there's going to be situations going to present itself, right? That's when you go back to that letter. That letter is your reality. That letter is your real life. When things present themselves, it doesn't complement that letter, that's an indication to you that that's temporary. It has to go because it doesn't represent your letter. You create the life you want by being so regimented and telling yourself that this letter is your life. So when situations show up, it's like you in the wrong house. You don't belong. I'm sorry, you don't belong here. Like you looking for my neighbor. The problem is when you don't know who you are, you accept that. And then it takes up residence inside of you. And then it brings worry, anxiety, fear, and all this other stuff. And guess what happens? That's what you resonate in the universe. And then it calls its cousins and its family members, and they present themselves to you. Then you let them in. And all of a sudden, because you're feeding it with your mind and your words, you build this monster up on the inside of you, and it takes over your identity. That's crazy. But that's how it happens. So when things present itself to you that doesn't represent that letter, do not accept it. Talk to it. Denounce it. I'm sorry, but you're at the wrong house. It's temporary. It's got to go.
That's good.
All right. You're welcome. One more question?
One more question, guys. Let's give, you've taken a good almost hour of Chris's evening.
That's all right.
One more question. I would love for you to have a chance to.
I'm going to leave you guys with one thing. I want you to ponder this. There was a period in my life when I was in my early 20s where I held on to some things. And I honestly believe had I not gotten rid of it, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Remember me mentioning me being molested when I was a child, right? So the gentleman that molested me, I always told myself, like, if I ever saw him when I was older, I was going to crack his face. Like, I was going to hurt him because he violated me when I was a child. Like, he took something innocent from me. You know what I mean? And he left me wounded. And so I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm at my aunt's house at a cookout, right? And a week before that, you know, I have my daughter Raven, and I have full custody of her. A single dad. I'm taking good care of her. But I was realizing that I was raising my daughter out of fear. Fear that I would be like my mom. Fear that I would be like my dad. And so I was never giving my daughter 100% of me. I was raising my daughter on 80% of me. 20% of me was still had resentment and hurt from what that dude did to me and what my parents did to me. So I started thinking to myself at this young age, like, man, if I continue this, I'm going to teach my daughter how to raise her family someday on 80%, because subliminally, that's what I'm letting off, because she's not getting 100% of me because there's resentment in my heart. There's brokenness in my heart. There's hurt in my heart. So I'm not giving my daughter 100% of me right now. So I'm at this cookout, guys. And I look to the left at my aunt's neighbor, and guess who's sitting there? The dude that molested me. So I got up. My aunt said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I'll be right back." I walk over to the picnic that they're having a picnic, bunch of people over there. I said, "Hey man, excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?" And he looked at me, his eyes got real big. He hadn't seen me since I was a child. So I said, "You know who I am, right?" He was like, "You look familiar." I said, "I'm Chris Downing. I'm Shantiva's son." And when I did that, he was kind of like, "This dude is huge." He didn't know what to expect. I said, "I just want to talk to you, man." So he gets up, we go walk away. I said, "You know, I have a daughter. I love my kid unconditionally. But unfortunately, I can't give my daughter the best of me because you still have it. I just want you to know, man to man, man, I pray and hope that you have not harmed any other kid. But from my heart, I want you to know that I forgive you. And I'm not forgiving you for you. I'm forgiving you for me. But I want you to know, man, that from my heart, I had no ill will against you. I forgive you for what you did for me, man. And from this day forward, it's squashed." I gave him a hug, walked away, got in my car, drove to my house, bawling my eyes out because I felt this heaviness just leave me. I got in the house, sat down on my couch, called my mom. "Hey, Mom, what are you doing?" She's like, "Nothing. Just want you to know I love you. I forgive you for everything you've ever done to me. Allowing the stuff to happen to me, all the transvestites, all the prostitutes that are in the house, all the abuse, all the physical abuse, beating me in the bathtub with an extension cord while I'm naked, all the stuff you did to me, Mom. I love you. I forgive you. Make up in my life, in my kid's life, what you really wanted to do for me, and we're good." She starts crying. I hang up the phone. I call my dad. "Dad, what's up, son? Hey, man, I just want to let you know, man, that I forgive you for not being there. I forgive you for not being a father." I said, "No disrespect, Dad, but you taught me the best thing in the world. You taught me not to be nothing like you, man." I said, "But I love you. Make up in my kid's life what you didn't do in my life, and we're good, Dad." Hung up the phone. For 30 minutes, this peace that I could not explain just hovered over me. And I cried, and I had the big tears, like the ones that when they drop, you feel it. Like it came from my soul, guys. Like it came from my soul. And I'm bawling and I'm bawling. And when I stopped crying, I looked up, and all of a sudden, all of this just rose out of me. And the next time I looked at my daughter, I had a love for her that I never had. I had an appreciation for her that I never had. I had so much joy and admiration that this beautiful little yellow baby looked so much like me. She was my everything. It was from that moment forward that I embraced fatherhood. But I couldn't embrace fatherhood. I couldn't embrace being successful or anything unless I got rid of it, unless I handled that 20%. So my question to you, before you can even become the coach you've ever desired to be, the wife, the sister, whatever it is in your life, I'm asking you to scan everything in your past If you need to make up a phone call, forgive them. Don't forgive them, forgive them for you, because you got to set yourself free of this. You got to release yourself from all the shackles, all the bondages, because you know what? Those people are living their life while we sitting here in bondage. You see what I'm saying? You got to free them for you, because there's a whole world of people just waiting on you to be the best version of yourself, because you are the answer to their problems and what they're seeking, okay? All right, got a scoop. I'm gonna leave you on that one. Chew on that for a little bit. See you guys. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye. I'll go ahead and close this out because it's late, but thank you guys for staying up late and hanging out with me and Chris and the team. But I mean, that was pretty powerful. I know that I mean, I have tears. I'm kind of not sure to say at this point, except that I hope that you guys all got something from that, and I hope there's something that you can take away tonight. I hope there's something practical that you can actually take away, not just inspiration, not just motivation, not just like a sermon, like something that you can actually do with this, like physically do with this, whether it's writing your own letter, whether it's making some phone calls, whether it's, digging into some dark places, because what he said in the beginning is, I think, just sums up everything. You don't have a weight loss problem. You don't have a whatever problem with your business. It's a self-love problem. That's the stem from all of our inaction or whatever our actions that don't reflect what we want to be. So I hope, my prayer is that you guys all take something from this and actually put some action behind it, because this was pretty powerful, and there's a lot to be learned and gained from his experience. So, okay, guys, have a great night, and I hope to see you all next week on the Live Power Hour. Good night.